Okay, we got to talk about overwhelm. And I'm talking about the type of overwhelm where you can't even think straight. You can't even figure out what you're supposed to be doing, what you were doing, how you're going to do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. It's the type where you're straight up burnt out. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because it's come up in so many of my client sessions in the last couple of weeks, which makes sense. At the time of this recording, it is that transition from end of summer to beginning of fall. Back to school if you've got kids or you're related to school or children in any way, shape, or form. And even if you're not, in the Northern Hemisphere, this is when it signifies that sort of like, all right, all the fun and games are over. Let's get back to reality and get back to structure and responsibility. And it's never gradual, right? It's usually just bam, here you go. After Labor Day, that's it, it's over. So we tend to underestimate that impact there. But it's also just like when life gets really intense, when things build up, we all have that happen, and it can be situational, it can be seasonal, it can be cyclical, it can be all sorts of things. But here's one thing that I think is pretty common in that experience is, again, we underestimate it. We kind of hold this expectation that we should just be able to handle it and handle it well and not let any of that intense buildup disrupt life as we know it, when it absolutely will. We are exquisitely sensitive creatures, humans, right? And we live in a day and age where it's just, there's a lot to carry. There's a lot to think about. So life, when it's good and it's normal, that's still overwhelming. And then when things ramp up, it's a different ballgame. It requires a different approach. And by the way, if you don't know me, my name is Nova Wightman. I'm the author of the book Awake and Aligned, How to Navigate the Human Experience as a Spiritual Being. Really, it's just a game of consciousness and self-awareness and intentionality. So I strive to help my clients and anyone who's willing and wants to talk about this stuff, because I could talk about it all day long, understand their energy better. When you understand and have awareness to how you uniquely function and operate and flow with life, how you're designed to flow with life, then you can put all your time, energy, and effort in that direction instead of trying to be someone or something that you're not, which only causes resistance and, wouldn't you know it, overwhelm and burnout. So getting back to the topic for today, that theme of that type of overwhelm, it does come from burnout. You cannot move forward with the same expectations, the same approach, as if you're not dealing with a heightened, amplified situation. So as I said a moment ago, it is a different ballgame. You need a different approach. And it really comes down to one thing. What's the worst thing that you can do or that someone can tell you when you're that burnt out and that overwhelmed? Well, they just start telling you, oh, just do this, just do that, just do that. And it just adds to the overwhelm. You literally don't have access to that energy, that mindset, the resources that you need to follow through on certain strategies. So I find it helpful to just boil it down to one simple thing: restore your energy. Restore your energy. Drop everything, or at least as much as you can. Carve out whatever time you can to just rest and restore. This is a simple concept in theory. It is horrifically complicated in experience and application. Why? Because we're not taught how to do this. We're not taught that it's okay to do this. We're taught to buck up and keep going. And then there's a whole host of other things that get triggered depending on your life experience and conditioning and background, such as if you take time to rest, you're worthless or you're not proving your worth. If you lower your productivity, whether it's in the workplace or in the household, tasks and responsibility, whatever it might look like, you're not pulling your weight. You're not being successful. You're not normal. Like we get into our heads about these things, and it's the very kind of thoughts that talk us out of doing what we have to do to prioritize that rest and restoration of our energy, which is very, very depleted at this point. That's what burnout is about. Makes everything, the simplest of tasks, seem overwhelming. It makes it seem impossible to do so. So the antidote here, so to speak. The solution is to just disrupt that old pattern, bring awareness to it, bring consciousness to it, call bullshit on yourself, call bullshit on others, call bullshit on society. We just don't work that way. So, with all the things, and that's the other thing is like when you're in overwhelm and burnout, the small, tiny problems seem giant. The simple steps and solutions to deal with or solve said tiny problems feel enormous. So that's not the place to put your focus and energy. You have to restore first. So again, disrupt the pattern by reminding yourself of that. Watch videos like this and immerse yourself in material and with people who have this mindset too, because we can remind each other. And by the way, that's what I'm doing here. I referenced clients, but I was in it last week, first week of school. Boy, was that intense, on top of running a business, on top of trying to get back into the swing of things, on top of some heated issues that popped up, wouldn't you know it, all at once. That's how it happens, right? And I had to just pause everything and focus on restoration. All the client situations, that was our task at hand. It wasn't getting to the root of it. It wasn't, what's the gift here? It's, all right, we got to get you rested. We need to recuperate. Because then and only then will you find the energy and feel resourceful enough to move forward from there. If you try to plow forward from that depleted state, oh God, that's where we invite in a host of other problems and issues, and we delay, getting beyond it. We think like, oh, just do this one more thing, work through it, push past it, and then I can rest. It doesn't work that way. And I think we all know that. We've all demonstrated that to ourselves, haven't we? We don't need to do that anymore. So disrupt the pattern. And then ask yourself, how can I access that rest and restoration? What do I need? And that's going to look different for each person. I mean, honestly, naps, sleep, get extra sleep, take time to eat nourishing meals, because if you're burnt out and overwhelmed, you're likely eating on the go. Gently move your body. And if you can't, let that be okay. And again, just sleep, just rest. I'm a fan of, this is where I unplug by binging a show. And that's where I turn my brain off. I get into some, fantasy land. And I don't know, that does it for me in addition to the sleep and everything. Let yourself off the hook for helping other people with their problems temporarily. It's temporary. I promise you, their world will keep on spinning, as will yours. You are not the be all end all. You are not the savior, even if it's your profession. Hello, I'm a coach. And I'm the go-to person for a lot of people in my life. And I have to be able to hit the pause button on that and let it be okay to not be that person for a little while, get some rest so that I can be that person. So whatever it might look like. And then, the other part of it is like, you have to actually follow through on it, ask for what you need, say no, delegate, let it be okay if your kids stare at their screens for 2 evenings all evening long. I know that's an unpopular viewpoint, and especially in this day and age of talking about the damage that screens do and whatnot to our kids. But I'll tell you what, if you take those 2 days and just let it be, then you'll have the energy to, let's say, regulate their or monitor their screen time. This is just an example. But challenge those things that say, yeah, but, and give yourself what you need. Make progress over perfection here. Practice. This is a practice. It's not easy for us to do it. But then, of course, as you'll always hear me say, pay attention to what happens when you do this, when you disrupt the pattern and you prioritize rest. You allow the burnout to turn into restoration and recouping your energy. You'll feel like yourself again. You'll feel like you can take on the world. You'll feel better equipped to better manage your time and your energy and your boundaries so that you don't burn out as easily next time. But you got to follow it through. You have to look for those results. So hopefully this has helped you. If it has, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. But take good care of yourself. And if you want more information, visit novawhightman.com, or more resources, that is.